Rigsby?
Certainly, Miss Jones, of course, yes. What is it?
It's about the new girl.
Oh, yes, you mean Madeline, yes.
Yes. I see it hasn't taken you long to get on first-name terms, Mr. Rigsby.
You know me, Miss Jones. I like to be intimate with try to get on good terms with all of my tenants.
Yes, so I've noticed, Mr. Rigsby. Is that why you've cleaned her windows 3 times this week?
Well, they were rather grimy, Miss Jones.
You mean you couldn't see through them properly?
Yes, yes. No.
No, don't protest, Mr. Rigsby. I saw you when you were pruning the apple tree, leering in at her.
Oh, no, Miss Jones, I wasn't leering in.
Oh, yes, of course you were. You fell out of the tree twice.
Just giving her a friendly wave, Miss Jones.
Yes, you've gone out of your way to be friendly. Is that why you cleaned the inside of her windows as well? Surely that's not normal practice.
Well, she had just arrived, Miss Jones. You know what that room was like. She was in a state.
She was also in a negligee, Mr. Rigsby.
Oh, is that what it was? Yes, I thought it had a lot of lace, yes. Yes, my trouble is I've no idea of fashion, Miss Jones.
Well, I'm not surprised you're confused, Mr. Rigsby. She certainly wears it a great deal. She came downstairs in it just now, in the middle of the morning. I thought there'd been a fire. I was shocked, Mr. Rigsby. I don't think it's quite the thing. Not with young and impressionable minds in the house. They could be led astray by a woman like that.
Oh, no, I don't think so, Miss Jones. Not those two, no. You haven't seen their calendar, have you? Oh, disgraceful. Yes, they don't go in for views of the Cotswold and the blacksmith working at his forge. Oh, no. It's all intimate studies of the female form with them. Yes. I thought the summer months were bad enough, but September's coming in with jackboots and a whip.
How do you know, Mr. Rigsby? We haven't reached September yet.
I was just thumbing through, Miss Jones. Frankly, I was appalled. No, if it's young, impressionable minds you're looking for, you'd be better off down the YMCA. There's nothing to worry about round here.
Yes, but I do worry, Mr. Rigsby. Where's it all going to end? She went topless in the garden last Sunday. That sort of thing gives the house a bad name.
Oh, topless? No, I didn't know that.
That surprises me, Mr. Rigsby, considering how close you were getting to her with the lawnmower. I don't think you're taking the situation at all seriously,
No,
Mr. Rigsby. The moral climate of this house has definitely taken a turn for the worst. And I've got the curate coming this evening. We're rehearsing for the concert. He'll begin to wonder if I'm a fit person to ascend the stage of a church hall. After all, birds of a feather, Mr. Rigsby.
Yes. But the birds of a feather, Miss, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Don't you, Mr. Rigsby? Tell me, have you been able to discover what she does for a living yet?
No, she's been rather reticent on that point.
I see. And do you know why she's so secretive about her work? Unless it's something she's ashamed of. Something that sets her apart from decent, respectable people.
You don't think she's from the tax office, Miss Jones?
No, I don't, Mr. Rigsby. They don't wear negligees and paint their toenails to administer Schedule D.
No, that's true.
And why does she sleep most of the day and stay out most of the night?
Oh, Miss Jones, you're not suggesting she's a loose woman.
Loose? If she got any looser, she'd fall apart.
Well, you leave it to me, Miss Jones. I'll certainly have a word with her.
Very well, Mr. Rigsby. Only the last time you had a word, you were in there for 3 hours, and then you had to go back for your jacket.
Wash that man right out of my head. I'm gonna wash that right out of my head.
Yeah, and where do you think you're going?
Just taking a newspaper down to Marilyn.
No, you're not. I want you to keep well away from her.
Why?
Because I said so, that's why.
Look, that's not a reason. As soon as we get an attractive woman in the house, you start walking around like a head eunuch.
It's for your own good. You be at your depth with a woman like that. You don't want to start the nosebleeds again, do you?
I'm going to look after myself.
No, it's not just a question of that. I've had complaints. Miss Jones thinks she's, I think she's a fallen woman.
A fallen woman?
Yes.
Well, what were you doing in her room last night? Trying to pick her up? Now, look, just because somebody's a bit heavy on the eyeshadow doesn't mean they're a fallen woman.
No, it's not just that, but Miss Jones has got the curate coming round tonight. What's he going to say?
Well, I thought he was supposed to save fallen women.
Yes, well, he is.
Well, ask him to save one for you. This one's mine. Look, you're only jealous because she fancies me.
No, it's not you she fancies, mate. Your mummy.
What, you don't mean she's
Yes.
Oh, I think that kind of thing's degrading. I mean, not for the woman.
No.
It's for the man who stoops to it.
Lowest of the low.
Contemptible.
Absolutely. What are you staring at?
Have you ever,
Certainly not. Man in my position, a respectable pillar of the community, man.
I'm sorry, Rigsby.
I should think so. I can honestly say with my hand on my heart, I have never been tempted in that direction. Not for years.
What about the war?
Ah, that was different, wasn't it? Yeah, that was in France. Yes, I was just a young man then. No more than a boy, really. Far from home. Outside, the tramp of marching feet, the sound of gunfire, and inside me, poised on the threshold of a new experience.
What was it like?
I'll tell you what it was like. The Germans scored a direct hit on the bedroom. That's what it was like.
What, you mean you never...
No, I never. No. The lights went out, the roof fell in. I thought, if this is sex, they can stuff it. I never stopped running till I got to Dunkirk.
What are you going to do about marriage?
What can I do? Can't afford a breath of scandal with the Curate coming? No, she's got to go.
Oh, look, do you have to, Rigsby?
Oh, well, don't take it to heart. Take up something else. Try brass rubbing.
Thought you were supposed to be seeing Marilyn.
Changed my mind.
Why?
I'm reading the paper.
Anything interesting?
Woman lost her head in the supermarket.
What a country. They'd lift anything. What's the matter? Why aren't you going down?
Because I've got principles. I'm not paying for the pleasure of her company.
Who said she was like that?
Well, it's obvious I wasn't born yesterday. All that negligee and painted toenails, way she's been chasing me.
Well, she's not going to make a fortune out of you. Not with what you have in the piggy bank.
She certainly is not.
Your trouble is you're too suspicious. You always think women are after your money.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Look how you were with those girls we met the other night, just because they had arrows on their stockings.
Well, that's a sign, that is. Arrows on the stockings. It's like split skirts and plastic macs.
That's why you keep your small change in your sock.
No, just being careful.
Your trouble is you're mean.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I just like a woman to like me for what I am, not what I've got.
Well, I can understand that. But we have a saying in my country. He who seeks the bird of paradise must put down a little seed. Now, why don't you pop down and see? I'll hold your wallet.
Yeah, supposing Rigsby's right about it.
Rigsby, I should have known. I wouldn't listen to him. He's only jealous.
Yeah, but supposing he's right.
Well, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Probably just what you need. I know it helped a friend of mine.
Is it?
Never regretted it. He had this strange fixation.
Well, I ain't got any strange What was it?
It was something to do with the sea. He'd arrive at her flat in oilskins.
Oilskins?
He'd put on waders and a sou'wester and ask her to make the sound of a howling gale. She stood on a chair and threw buckets of water at her.
Well, what happened then?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, what would you expect in weather like that?
Oh, Marilyn, could I have a word, love?
Certainly, big boy. What is it?
Well, it's a bit delicate.
It usually is.
No, I've had complaints.
Complaints? What sort of complaints?
Well, regarding your occupation.
I see. You've found out then.
Well, let's just say the pieces have fallen into place, shall we, Madeline?
And you want me to go?
Yes, I'm afraid. I am the landlord, love. I am responsible for the moral climate around here.
Well, why don't you go?
I'm not blaming you, Madeline. I mean, you're a nice girl, I can see that. But, I mean, rules are rules.
And you object to my dancing?
Yes, You dance? Oh, you're a dancer?
Well, I don't suppose you consider it dancing, but I do. It's very artistic. I suppose if I was with the Royal Ballet, that would be all right. But just because I'm an erotic dancer...
Oh, an erotic dance? I'm sorry, we all thought you were on the game.
I could have been classical. I had the talent. I just grew too much.
Yes, I can see that, yes. But, perhaps I've been a bit hasty then.
You mean I could stay?
Yes, well, let's give it a try, shall we?
Oh, you're more understanding than my last landlord. He turned me out. Of course, he objected to my partner.
Your partner?
Yeah, Charlie. You want to see him?
Charlie? Oh, my God! It's a snake!
You've been touching me, He's just extracting warmth from your body.
I think he's wasting his time, though.
That's why he's sluggish. It's too cold for him, really. You have to poke him.
No, don't bother, no. No, it seems a pity to disturb him. He looks so peaceful.
He's beautifully marked, isn't he?
Yes. Yes, I particularly like the zigzags.
Oh, do you really like him?
Yes, of course I do.
Oh, I think he can sense it. The other landlord didn't like him. That's why Charlie kept dropping on him from the lampshade. He was always in trouble.
Yes.
He crept next door and swallowed 2 of their garden gnomes. It's amazing what they can cram in.
Yes, right, well, I must be dashing, Madeline. If Charlie doesn't mind, that is.
Oh, no, he's taken to you.
Is he? Bye, bye, Charlie. Hey, where do you think you're going?
I'm going to see Marilyn. I've changed my mind. No, look, Risby, no. No matter what you say, I've decided not to take a moral attitude. Life's too short.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah, go on, go ahead.
Well, you don't mind?
No, I think it'll prove a very stimulating experience.
Do that, Rigsby.
You haven't recovered yet, then?
No, I haven't.
You should have seen your face when you came out of that room. Talk about blind terror. I haven't seen panic like that since 12 was trying to get in the same life jacket at Dunkirk.
It was horrible. It was all coiled and ready to spring. That's what they do, you know.
Yeah.
They hypnotise their prey, then they swallow it.
Well, he couldn't have swallowed you, not with those feet. He's really got you going, hasn't he? You're really terrified, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You think he's lurking everywhere. You ran away from the garden hose this afternoon.
Well, just you wait. You'll pick up that hose pipe one day and turn around and stare at you.
Well, at least they won't panic anyway. And do you know why? Because animals respect me. Oh, yes, I've always had this influence. Sort of calming effect on them, yes. Yes, do you remember that Alsatian who got hold of Miss Jones's joint? Eh? Well, who was the one who approached him, uttered a few soothing words and took it from him? Eh?
You did?
Yes, well, there you are, then.
Well, it still bit you.
I calmed him down in the end, didn't I?
Only after you hit it over the head with a broom handle.
All right.
I've just seen the snake.
Oh,
I'd keep away from him if I were you.
right, what do you mean?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it's Fawcette's Python.
It's what?
Fawcette's Python.
Well, I wish you'd take it back.
No, he means Fawcett was the first to find it, don't you?
Well, not exactly, Rigsby. Actually, it found Fawcett. Fawcett was never seen again, except for his boots. Of course, they grow much larger than that. That's a young one.
I told you,
Well,
Rigsby.
you mean they're really dangerous?
Oh, yes, when grown, they've been known to leap out of the bush and attack a horse and cart.
You sure it's a Fawcett's Python?
Well, as sure as I can be, of course, there's only one way to identify a Fawcett's Python.
How's that?
From a great distance.
Very funny.
I remember in the old days, we presented one to the district commissioner. He was delighted with it until it ate the spaniels.
I'll have to keep an eye on Vienna then, won't I? He might end up as a bulge in his stomach.
And of course, if they bite you, you're dead in quarter of an hour.
Well, you've got to get rid of it,
No,
Rigsby.
I'm not having him wandering around loose. It's Miss Jones to consider.
Hey, you don't think it'd eat Miss Jones, do you?
They'd eat anything.
And then there's the curate. Mind you, wouldn't care if you had a go at him. He's been hanging around here far too much just lately.
Well, it's a good thing you're good with animals, Riggs, because somebody's got to go down there and tell her it's got to go.
Don't worry, I'm not afraid, mate. I don't know the meaning of fear. Listen, I could have been one of the great white hunters. Which is more than I can say for him.
Hey, Rigsby, don't forget to tie some string round your ankles. You don't want it shooting up your trouser legs. Hey, how do you know it's a Fawcett Python?
That's how I know. It's all right, it's quite dead.
Where'd you get it?
I brought it from Africa. Beautifully marked, isn't it? You don't see them very often. They're very difficult to stuff.
I'm not surprised. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, imagine that grabbing hold of you.
Oh, it's all right. It's not poisonous.
It's not?
No.
Well, what about all that stuff about being dead in 15 minutes and horse and carts and all that?
No, that was for Rigsby's benefit.
Can I borrow it?
Why?
I was thinking of stuffing it up the Great White Hunter's shirt flap.
Madeline, now look, love. I hope Charlie's not going to take this personally, but he's got to go. It's not me, it's the tenants. They don't fancy Charlie knotting himself round their windpipes. Not even with the friendliest of intentions.
I knew it. You're all against him. I don't know why. He's just a big soft thing,
Yes, I know he's just a big soft thing. The trouble is he's going to get bigger, isn't he? When he carries on growing, we won't be able to get up the stairs without a machete. I'm sorry, you'll just have to face it. He'd be happier in a zoo.
But what about the act?
Well, you'll have to get something else. What about a couple of ostrich feathers? Eh? Oh, fan-tailed doves. Now, they're supposed to be very effective.
No, it wouldn't be the same.
Yes, well, I know it wouldn't be the same, love, but you said yourself he feels the cold, and the winters here can be something cruel. If we have another one like last year, he's not going to let anyone near those radiators, is he? I'm sorry, you'll have to go, love. Now, don't cry. Now, don't say... Now, you'll upset Charlie.
It's too late. He's gone.
He's what? Gone?
I was playing with him in the garden and he just slithered off.
The garden? The garden, you stupid cow. What do you want to take him in the garden for? It's not as if you can throw sticks for him, is it?
I thought he'd like the exercise.
Well, he's got him plenty of that, isn't he? Well, you better get out and look for him, hadn't you?
Well, I have done, but he's probably miles away by now.
Oh, well, you better make sure. Hey, I don't want to worry, but that bloke next door's been clipping his edge. One false snip and Charlie won't know whether he's coming or going.
Well, Mr. Rigsby, have you seen her?
Yes, Miss Jones, I have, yes. And there's absolutely nothing to worry about. She's a dancer.
Oh, what sort of a dancer?
Well, not what you might call the classical school, more of the modern interpretive type of dancing, yes. What you might call glorification of the physical.
You mean she takes her clothes off?
Yes.
I see, Mr. Rigsby. Well, I hope you spoke to her severely. Remember, I have the curate coming this evening.
Oh, how could I forget, Miss Jones?
What do you mean, Mr. Rigsby?
Will he be singing again tonight?
Oh, yes. And I'll be accompanying him in his rendition of the Indian love lyrics.
Right. I must remember to put the cat out.
Are you suggesting that the curate's singing disturbs Vienna?
Well, he does become a little ruffled, Miss Jones. He tries to get behind the cooker.
The curate has a beautiful voice, Mr. Rigsby.
Oh, yes, I'm not saying he hasn't, Miss Jones. It's just the high notes, yes, when he sounds afflicted with the strangulated hernia.
I'm afraid there's something of the Philistine about you, Mr. Rigsby.
It's very nice of you, Miss Jones.
Well, don't you worry about the curate, just you worry about Marilyn. I don't want anything to disturb his composure.
Would you like a cup of tea?
No, thank you, Mr. Rigsby.
You don't mind if...
Not at all. The curate has led a sheltered life. How do you think he'd react to a woman in a negligee?
Oh, no, I shouldn't worry about that, Miss Jones. After all, he has been trained to resist temptation. A bit of scourging and a couple of hours in his hair shirt to be as dry as rain.
I'm glad you find it amusing, Mr. Rigsby, because I don't.
Oh, now, Miss Jones, I think you're taking the wrong attitude there. I think the curate himself might well deliver one of his blistering sermons on casting the first stone. After all, he has been the subject of malicious gossip himself.
What do you mean, Mr. Rigsby?
Well, I was thinking of that occasion he was seen at last tango in Paris without his dog collar and with an unknown lady.
Yes, well, never mind about that, Mr. Just remember what I said.
Yes, right, Miss Jones. Oh, hey, Vienna, who'd be a landlord, eh? What are you playing with? Oh, what have you? You've always got something. What have you got now? Come on. Oh, my... Oh, Lord! Look down on your servant, Rigsby. Don't let him get me.
What's the matter, Rigsby?
Don't move. It's there.
What is?
That is.
Where's the snake?
Well, of course it's a snake. What do you think? It was a draft excluder. Now, look, I want you to be a very brave lad and walk out to the room backwards very slowly and fetch Madeline.
Nah, it's all right, Rigsby.
Careful, he'll have you.
What's the matter? Talk about great white hunters. They don't come any whiter than you, do they? It's not Marilyn's. This one's stuffed.
What do you mean it's a dummy?
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
Well, it's Phillips. I brought it down. Thought you might be interested. Cat must have got it. Take me behind the curtain. I didn't know you were going to panic.
What do you mean, panic? I was just putting a new light bulb in. Very lifelike, isn't it?
Yeah?
Hey, I was just thinking, Miss Jones has got the curate coming tonight.
He's not singing, is he?
Yes, no, but I was just thinking, if that was to get into her room, it might have very beneficial results.
What, you mean it might help him reach the high notes?
Yes, that's what I thought.
I'll see what I can do.
Right, good lad.
Come on, Bonzo.
Yes. He's well trained, isn't he?
Shall we run through it once more, Douglas?
Very well, Ruth, but please remember it is not a race to see who finishes first. We should try to breast the tape together, as it were.
Yes, of course, Douglas. May I say that I think you're singing beautifully?
Yes, I do seem in good voice, don't I?
I think you'll be devastating on the night.
Yes. Remember last year, Ruth? Oh, we had a profound effect on the old age pensioners. I swear there were tears in their eyes, Ruth.
Oh, they were obviously music lovers, Douglas. Some were so overcome with emotion that they had to leave the room.
It was very rewarding.
I think it's the best thing in your repertoire, Douglas.
Thank you, Ruth. Should we continue? Pale hands I loved beside the Shalimar. Where are you now, who lies beneath your spell? Whom do you lead on rapture's road? Is that you, Ruth?
Certainly not, Douglas.
I thought it was cracked.
I thought it was your breathing.
There is nothing wrong with my breath control, I can assure you. Shall we continue? Pale hands I love thee. What is the matter, Ruth?
It's a snake! Where's it gone?
I don't know. I think it must be under the bed.
Oh, is anything wrong, Miss Jones, or do you normally rehearse like this?
Certainly not, Mr. Rigsby.
Oh, I thought that was the curate's way of getting a high note.
There's a snake, Mr. Rigsby.
A snake? Curate? Surely not. I'm sure he wouldn't attack a man of the cloth. Where is he?
Oh, do be careful, Mr. Rigsby.
He was coming for us.
Oh, well, obviously a music lover. Well, I wonder where he is. Oh, here he is down here. All right, Miss Jones, nothing to be... Nothing to worry about, Miss Jones. It's quite a lively little fellow,
do
isn't he?
take care,
It's
Mr.
all right, Miss Jones. You've just got to watch the fangs. It's all right. I had a lot of experience with these artists. Come on, down now. Get down.
What's going on?
It's all right. Nothing to worry about. I've got everything under control. He put up quite a struggle, mind you.
Rigsby,
Eh?
I think you've got the wrong one.
Thought it felt different. Oh, my God, it's got me. Oh, shit. It bit me.
Are you sure?
Yes, of course, I'm sure.
How do you feel, Mr. Rigsby?
I'm going numb. My eyes are glazing.
What shall we do?
Perhaps a prayer?
Do you mind?
What we've got to do is get a knife, open the wound and suck out the poison. Now, where did he bite you, Rigsby?
Down here. Sorry, Miss Jones. Well, come on, one of you, quick.
I think we'd better call a doctor, Rigsby.
My God! You certainly find out who your friends are at times like this, don't you? Oh, my God, if he's bitten me, I've only got 10 minutes to live.
Have you found him?
He's behind the curtain.
Poor old Charlie. Have you been frightening him?
Frightened him, he's just bitten me.
Oh, that's probably just a friendly nip.
A friendly nip, he's poisoned me. I've only got 10 minutes to go.
7, actually.
Yes.
They've been having you on. He's not poisonous.
It's what?
No. To tell you the truth, if he's bitten you, I'm more worried for poor old Charlie.
Must be off, Rigsby.
I might have bloody well known it. Come